Manchester City have just made one of the biggest statements of the Women's Super League transfer window, and this one is going to get people talking. England forward Beth Mead has officially joined Manchester City on a free transfer after leaving Arsenal, ending a 9-year spell in North London and stepping straight into the squad of the new WSL champions. For anyone who follows women's football closely, this is not just another transfer. This is a major move involving one of England's most recognizable attacking players, a former Arsenal fan favorite, a Lionesses star, and a player who has delivered on some of the biggest stages in the game. Beth Mead leaving Arsenal was already emotional. Beth Mead joining Manchester City now makes it even more significant. The 31-year-old has signed a 3-year contract with City after her Arsenal deal expired in May. That means Manchester City did not have to pay a transfer fee, but they're still getting a player with huge experience, proven quality, and a winning mentality. In a market where top attacking players can be extremely difficult to find, City have managed to bring in a forward who has won at club level, won with England, and knows exactly what it takes to handle pressure. Mead's arrival comes at a fascinating time for Manchester City women. City are not rebuilding from weakness. They are building from a position of strength. After becoming the new Women's Super League champions, the club could easily have stayed comfortable and relied on the squad that already brought success. Instead, they have gone out and added another elite name to an already dangerous front line. That is what makes this transfer so interesting. Manchester City are not simply signing Beth Mead because she is a big name. They're signing her because she fits the style, the ambition, and the level they are trying to maintain. And judging by Mead's own words, she sees the same thing. Speaking after the move was confirmed, Mead said the decision was a no-brainer for her. She explained that the way Manchester City plays suits her game and could help bring something extra out of her as a player. That is a strong statement, especially from someone who spent nearly a decade at Arsenal and achieved so much there. For Arsenal supporters, this one will hurt. Beth Mead was not just a player who passed through the club. She became a major part of Arsenal women's identity over the past 9 years. During her time with the Gunners, she won the Women's Super League, the Champions League, and 3 League Cups. She experienced big nights, major trophies, difficult moments, injury setbacks, and emotional comebacks. Her connection with Arsenal fans was clear in May, when she was given an emotional send-off during the club's final home match of the season against Everton. That farewell felt like the closing of a long and meaningful chapter. But now, with this move to Manchester City, the next chapter begins with one of Arsenal's biggest domestic rivals. That is where the drama of this transfer comes in. It is not controversy in the sense of scandal, and it should not be treated like one. But in football terms, when a player of Mead's status leaves a club like Arsenal and joins a direct WSL title rival, the reaction is always going to be intense. Arsenal fans will remember everything she gave to the club. City fans will look at this signing and see another reason to believe their team can dominate again. And honestly, from a football perspective, it is easy to see why City wanted her. Mead brings more than goals and assists. She brings intelligence in the final third, movement, experience, creativity, and the ability to perform under pressure. She can operate across the attack, stretch defenses, combine with other forwards, and deliver in big moments. In a team that already controls games and creates chances, that kind of player can be incredibly valuable. Manchester City's front line was already one of the most exciting in the league. They have Lauren Hemp, one of England's most explosive wide players. They have Carolyn, the Brazilian forward with flair, pace, and unpredictability. They also have Khadija Shaw, the WSL player of the season, who committed her future to the club at the end of the campaign. Adding Beth Mead into that attacking mix gives City even more options, more variety, and more experience. For defenders across the WSL, this is not good news. City already had speed, power, technical quality, and finishing ability. Now they have added a player who understands space, timing, and high-level football as well as anyone. Mead does not need to be the loudest player on the pitch to influence a game. She knows how to find pockets, create openings, and punish mistakes. This signing also says a lot about Manchester City's ambition beyond one successful season. Winning the WSL is one thing. Staying at the top is another challenge entirely. Every champion knows that once you win the title, everyone else raises their level against you. Rivals strengthen. Expectations rise. The pressure becomes heavier. City's response has been clear. They are not standing still. Therese Jogren, City's director of women's football, made that point when discussing Mead's arrival. She highlighted that Mead's achievements in the game speak for themselves and said that after winning the double last season, City want to build on that success in the coming years. Signing a player of Mead's quality is clearly part of that plan. That phrase, quality and caliber, matters here because Mead is not being brought in as a gamble. This is a player whose resume is already proven. At international level, she has earned 81 caps for England. She was part of the Lionesses squad that won back-to-back European championships in 2022 and 2025. She also scored for England against Ukraine on Tuesday, showing that she is still very much capable of making an impact on the international stage. For England fans, that detail is important. This is not a player arriving at Manchester City purely on past reputation. Mead is still active, still competitive, and still contributing. Her move to City could also have an impact on her international career, because if she fits quickly into Andre Jeglert's side and plays regular high-level football, it keeps her firmly in the England conversation. From Mead's side, the move feels like a decision based on both football and timing. After 9 years at Arsenal, sometimes a player reaches a point where a fresh environment can bring new energy. She has achieved a lot in North London. She has been through the highs and lows. She has become part of the club's history, but she has also made it clear that she is ready for a new chapter. That phrase is often used in football, but in this case, it actually feels accurate. Mead is not moving as a young player trying to prove she belongs. She is moving as an established star who wants to add something different to a team already competing at the top. She said she believes Manchester City is a place where she can fit in and help bring a different dynamic to the team. That sounds like a player who knows exactly why she is making the move. For Manchester City fans, the excitement will be obvious. They're getting a player with pedigree, personality, and experience. They're also getting someone who knows how to win. At this stage of her career, Mead does not need time to understand the pressure of big games. She has already been there. She has played at Wembley. She has played in major finals. She has represented England on huge international nights. That kind of experience can be priceless in a dressing room, chasing more trophies. There is also the tactical side of this move. City's style demands technical quality, movement, and decision-making. Mead is comfortable in systems where wide players are expected to do more than simply run down the line. She can come inside, link play, create overloads, and combine with attacking midfielders and forwards. With Hemp on one side, Carolyn available, and Shaw leading the line, Mead gives City another clever attacking profile. That is where this transfer could become a real problem for the rest of the league. City are not just stacking names together. They're building a squad with different attacking weapons. Hemp gives them directness. Shaw gives them power and finishing. Carolyn gives them flair and unpredictability. Mead gives them experience, creativity, and control in key moments. When you combine those qualities, the result is a team that can hurt opponents in multiple ways. For Arsenal, the challenge now is emotional and sporting. Losing a player like Mead is never simple, especially when she leaves after such a long stay. Her exit marks the end of an era for a certain group of supporters who watched her grow, win, fight back, and become one of the faces of the team. Arsenal will now need to move forward without her, and fans will be watching closely to see how the club responds. But this is football. Players move. Careers change. Clubs evolve. Mead gave Arsenal 9 years of service, and that should not be forgotten. At the same time, City have every right to celebrate a major signing. That is what makes the WSL so compelling right now. The league is growing, the rivalries are sharper, and transfers like this show just how competitive the top end of women's football has become. This move also arrives alongside another important development for City, with England teammate Niamh Charles expected to join her in Manchester after City agreed a fee with Chelsea. If that deal is completed, It would make the window even stronger for the champions. Bringing in multiple England internationals sends a clear message that City are not just trying to defend their title. They're trying to set the standard. And that standard is getting higher every year. The Women's Super League is no longer a league where one or two clubs can quietly dominate without serious pressure. Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, and others are all trying to push forward. Every major signing changes the balance. Every experienced international arrival raises expectations. Beth Mead to Manchester City is exactly the kind of transfer that makes fans stop and pay attention. There will be plenty of debate about how Arsenal fans should feel, whether City now have the strongest attack in the league, and how Mead fits into the starting lineup. But one thing is clear, this is a statement signing. City have added a proven winner on a free transfer, and Mead has chosen a club where she believes her game can still grow. For Beth Mead, this is a chance to prove that her best football can still have another big chapter. For Manchester City, it is a chance to add another layer of quality to a champion team. For Arsenal, it is a painful farewell to a player who gave them years of memorable service. And for the WSL, it is another sign that the league is becoming more competitive, more dramatic, and more closely watched than ever. As the new season approaches, all eyes will be on how quickly Mead adapts to life in Manchester. Will she instantly click with Lauren Hemp, Carolyn, and Khadija Shaw? Will she become one of the key pieces in City's title defense? Will Arsenal regret letting such an experienced player walk away for free? Those are the questions fans will be asking now. What cannot be questioned is Beth Mead's record. She leaves Arsenal as a decorated player, arrives at Manchester City as a major signing, and steps into a squad already built to win. In a transfer window full of noise, this is one move that genuinely matters. Manchester City have made their intentions very clear. They are champions, but they're still hungry. And by bringing in Beth Mead, they have added another proven lioness to a team that already looked dangerous enough.